If I lived in a world where people were enslaved, but I wanted them to believe they were free, how would I go about setting up elections, for example? If your goal were to create a system in which people are enslaved or tightly controlled, yet believe they are free, you would need to craft a structure that gives the illusion of choice and autonomy while maintaining ultimate control over the outcomes. For setting up elections in such a world, here are several strategies you could employ. 1. Controlled choices. Limited candidates. Pre-select candidates. Allow people to vote, but only from a pool of candidates that you, or the controlling power, have pre-approved. These candidates may appear to have different opinions or political stances, but are ultimately aligned with the goals of those in power. This creates an illusion of diversity while ensuring that no real change threatens the established order. Two-party or limited party system. If only two major political parties or limited ideologies are allowed, both can be subtly aligned with the same overarching interests. This gives the appearance of choice, but no matter which party wins, the policies that maintain control remain in place. 2. Manageable outcomes, rigged elections. Manipulate voting results. The voting process can be rigged or tampered with to ensure that the desired candidate or outcome is always achieved. The voting system could be non-transparent or controlled by officials loyal to those in power. Voters may cast their ballots believing in the integrity of the process, but the real outcome has been predetermined. Voter suppression or manipulation. By controlling who has access to voting, through complex registration processes, legal obstacles, or intimidation, those who might vote against the system are marginalized, while compliant voters are encouraged or even rewarded. 3. Distraction and disempowerment. Focus on trivial issues. Shift the attention of voters to superficial or symbolic issues that don't challenge the core power structures, while the most important decisions, such as economic or military policy, are made without public input. While the most important decisions, such as economic or military policy, are made without public input. Elections could center around cultural or moral debates that create division and distraction, but have little impact on the actual distribution of power. Maintain the appearance of democracy. Keep the machinery of elections, campaigns, debates, media coverage in place, so people feel involved and empowered. However, ensure that no matter who wins, the deep structures of control, economically, legally, or socially, remain untouched. 4. Propaganda and psychological control, media control. Control the flow of information through media outlets. By shaping narratives, you can make sure that voters are fed a steady stream of propaganda that reinforces the illusion of freedom and democracy. Criticism of the system could be marginalized, mocked, or suppressed. Divide and conquer. Keep the population divided through identity politics, race, religion, or class. By encouraging internal strife among the population, they will focus on fighting each other rather than questioning the power structure. Polarized societies are often easier to manipulate because they seek protection from a perceived other. Create enemies and crises, present external or internal threats, real or imagined, that keep people in fear or uncertainty. In such times, they are less likely to demand more freedom and are more likely to accept restrictions and authoritarian measures disguised as protection. 5. Rewards for compliance. Material comforts. Ensure that people have enough material comforts, basic income, entertainment, consumer goods, to feel content, even if they lack real freedom. If the population is kept busy with distractions like consumerism or entertainment, they may not notice the limits on their political power. Reward systems. Set up systems where compliance with the status quo is rewarded. For instance, those who participate in the election process and support the system might receive certain privileges, better jobs, promotions, financial perks, while those who dissent face subtle consequences like social isolation or limited opportunities. 6. Complex bureaucracy. Bureaucratic obfuscation. Create a complicated, confusing legal or political system that gives the impression that people have influence, but is so intricate and slow-moving that it rarely produces real change. By making it difficult for ordinary people to understand or navigate the system, you create a sense of apathy, encouraging them to focus on daily survival rather than meaningful political action. Incremental reforms. Introduce small, incremental reforms or changes in policy that seem like progress, but are ultimately inconsequential. These changes pacify the population without shifting the balance of power. 7. Encourage fatalism and cynicism. Encourage disengagement. Foster a sense of cynicism or hopelessness about politics. If people believe that their votes don't really matter or that all politicians are corrupt, they are less likely to engage meaningfully with the political process.